These are the top 5 wealth killers you have to avoid, especially if you're a teen or in your 20s. I promise, even if you just avoid 1 or 2 of these mistakes, you are well on your way to become a millionaire in your 30s or 40s. And yes, that is possible. But on the contrary, the last wealth killer could be the reason why you will lose hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars over your lifetime. The first wealth killer is credit card debt, or any debt that is over 10% in interest. An easy way that people trip up with credit card debt are those $300 expenses disguised as expenses of $39.99 per month in financing. So there was this one time where I needed to get a new laptop, and it was around like $600 to $1,000, but it was hard to put down that big of an amount in just one go. So Best Buy actually offered me to pay $60-ish a month for several months. This poses 2 threats for you. The first threat is that you look at this and you're like, yeah, I can pay $60 a month, that's okay. But then you say yes to 2 or 3 more of these expenses, and before you know it, you're paying $300, $400 in expenses of financing. That's a lot in a month. The second threat is interest, because usually these financing options make you pay a lot more than the actual price of the item. Because every month they will say to you, okay, you need to pay the actual price of the item plus interest. So the actual $1,000 laptop might turn into $1,300 or even more, with no new functions added. Hello? Also, if you're under 21 and watching this, drop a like, because oh my god, good for freaking you. You are setting yourself such a solid foundation, a financial foundation, and you know what? You might be one of the next ones to retire at 30 years old. The next wealth killer might surprise you because it could be Uber Eats or other seemingly small convenience payments. And you're right, one Netflix payment, one Uber Eats payment, one Amazon Prime payment is not gonna propel you into financial destitute, but there is an analogy that I would like you to keep in mind. One small hole in your boat might not cause it to sink, but what if you have 5 or 10 or 20? That might cause your boat to sink faster than you can say Titanic. I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend on Netflix or you shouldn't spend on Uber Eats. I would just like to encourage you to ask yourself and examine yourself with these seemingly small convenient spending habits. So a practice that I really like to do is any spendings more than $30, I like to wait about 3 days before making the purchase. And the reason why I wait around 3 days is that it allows me to get out of the emotional headspace and into a more of a rational, logical headspace, so I can ask myself, okay, is this a emotional spending for convenience, or do I really need this item? Like, for example, do I really need my own Netflix account, or can I share one account among my family or within my friend group? So this way everyone can enjoy their favorite shows at like a fraction of the price. And maybe leave these sus shows watching to other platforms. Literally in my research phase for this script, I wrote down the show with cross-dressing Yuri. I'm guilty too. And the third wealth killer is getting a new car, not a secondhand car, a new car every few years. This is like buying a new iPhone whenever a new one comes out, but on freaking steroids. Because like, okay, do you really need that HHHD 16K graphics on your phone? Or like that Cybertruck, for example, with edges so freaking sharp, you can cut a bear if it charges at you. But with all seriousness though, getting a new car every few years is one of the biggest expenses adults and young adults goes through. And with every purchase, it could at least set you back $44,000. And compounded over your whole entire lifetime, that could equate to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not to say, if you have invested those same dollars, you could have gained hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in your lifetime. If this video is helping you make better, smarter financial decisions, consider subscribing, because all I want to make is good money content for you and to help you make good money decisions to buy back your time and retire early. Okay, the next wealth killer scares me to no end, which is having no financial literacy. This can really, really screw you over because, for example, let's say you have 0 or very little financial literacy. So you sign up for this credit card that lures you in with a sign-up bonus of 75,000 air mile points. And the condition is that you have to spend in the first 3 months $4,000. Then 3 months later, you realize that you have overspent your budget. Then now you have to pay 20 to 30% of interest on your remaining balance. On top of that, you now realize that this card cost you hundreds of dollars just to keep open as their annual fee. Okay, here is another example. So let's say you don't know what kind of bank account to open. So you open the same bank account as your parents, but you're hit with management fees and also minimum balance fees every single month, which are fees that can easily be avoided, by the way, because there are banks that don't charge them. And if you live in Canada, I use Tangerine and EQ Bank, just for reference. And they don't charge management fees. So if this section really strikes a chord within you and you're like, ooh, I really feel like I need to work on my financial literacy skills, I highly recommend this book. So this book is called Broke Millennials, Stop Scraping By and Get Your Financial Life Together. It really gives you the important, so important, fundamental money skills. Like, for example, how do you budget? How do you use a credit card responsibly? How do you build a good credit score? And why should you invest even if you don't know what you want for dinner? And by far, one of the scariest things about having very low or zero financial literacy skills is keeping everything in a savings account instead of investing. Maybe it's because the people around you in your life keep saying to you, investment is very scary, investment is very complicated. So you just keep saving and saving. But then in 30 or 40 years, you suddenly realize that no matter how much you have saved, it wasn't enough because everything is just being eaten away by inflation. I will show you an example of what I mean. Okay, so this is what will look like if you have saved $1,000 every month for 40 years. And then on this side is if you have invested the same $1,000 over 40 years. The difference is so stark. So every time I think about this, I think back to this conversation I had with this friend from work. So we were talking about money and saving, and the topic of investments came up. And I clearly remember her say to me, oh my God, I don't ever think I will ever invest because it's just so hard and so complicated. I do not understand how you're able to do this. You don't have like a degree or a master or a PhD in this. And hint, you don't need to. It just makes me so sad and so scared to think that so many other people around our age are thinking something along these lines. And investing is not scary and it shouldn't be scary. And there have been people already who exist who has retired by 30 years old because of investing. And also for myself, I am able to successfully invest over $60,000 into the stock market by 24 years old. So if you're hesitant about investing, I highly recommend you check out this book. And if you're looking for something more visual, more video, then I have a playlist of how to invest as a beginner on YouTube. And at the same time, if you feel like you are hesitant in investing because there is like an emotional block, maybe a intense fear, intense anxiety, then I recommend you check out this video on how to heal from emotional money trauma. Even if you feel like you don't identify as a highly sensitive person right here. That's why I made that video, for other highly sensitive people to not feel so alone. But even if you don't identify with that, I still recommend you checking out the video because a lot of the times our spending decisions are emotionally based, and this video might help you navigate them better. You can do it. Now you might be like, great, Ash, that was a lot of don'ts. Then what should I do instead? What should I do if I want to become wealthy? Well, there are 3 simple steps. So spend less, earn more, invest more, and labao. I say that it's simple, and at the same time, it's actually very hard to implement. Check out this video right here where Purple uses the 3 elements of spending less, earning more, and investing more to achieve early retirement at just 30 freaking years old. Oh my God. And again, thank you for hanging out today. And remember, when you think money, think freedom first. Okay, bye-bye.